Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Good evening, everyone. This is Bob Pompeani. We're live in the Fan Cave tonight and also on 93.7 The Fan as we bring you another edition of the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. The number to call, as always, is 412-575-2600. If you'd like, hit me up on Twitter. It's at KDPomp, and we always have a lot to talk about. Was last night the dagger for the Penguins. They had a chance to come away with 2 points, a well-played game up until the final few minutes, and they saw a 3-1 third-period lead turn into a 4-3 regulation loss. And that was critical because those 2 points would have helped out quite a bit. Penguins also got a couple of games go their way last night from other teams that had to lose, and today also. They're watching a team like Arizona beat the Washington Capitals, a team like New Jersey lose to the LA Kings. However, they're laying another egg tonight. Last check before I went down to the studio was 3-0. Oilers had the lead in that game. And again, the Penguins gave up a 2-on-1, a 3-on-1. They're very sloppy that way. And when you do that against very good teams, bottom line is you're going to have some problems, and they're having some problems tonight. So 3-0. They were always shut out in Seattle on this trip. They're now 2 for 15 on the power play on this trip, and it looks like they're going to have to revamp this roster. Just when you thought they're going to keep this group together for a while, they're certainly going to have to rethink that. They can't play with a lead. They don't know how to close games out. That's been a problem over the last 2 years recently, and you wonder, is that the coaching or is that the guys not doing what they're coached to do? Or is it both? Whatever the case, they look slow tonight. Evgeny Malkin is completely skating in a quagmire, it appears. He only has 2 goals in 26 games. He hasn't done much. He's gone, 5 straight periods now without a shot on goal. He's just ineffective. Is it age setting in? Is whatever the case is, the Jake Gensel situation seems to have come to a conclusion, and that would be they're going to have to move him at the deadline, which is March the 8th. Other than that, I don't know what else to say. I just see now the Oilers scored again very late, so it's 4-0 on the power play. So this one's pretty much over, and the Penguins are going to have 1-3 on this trip coming home to take on 2 games before that trade deadline. We'll see what Kyle Dubas does. 412-575-2600 is the number. We'll also talk about, what the Steelers are doing at the Combine. They're looking at a lot of skilled people. There's some rumor, speculation out there that Deontay Johnson may be a trade piece candidate. He's entering the final year of a contract, and, that can always be interesting. He got a nice deal when they last signed it, but it was under what the market was for other wide receivers. Does he think he deserves more? And if so, how will that impact what this season is like? And does he go through a, quote, sit-in if he's not happy with any kind of contract movement at all? We'll see when training camp starts, but they may be willing to do it or not. They also have a lot of other stuff to deal with, like trying to get their offensive line better. They need a center. I would even suggest another tackle if their thought was to move Broderick Jones to left tackle. So they have a lot of stuff to consider there, and they need to come up with more contributors on offense, skilled people, to make things happen. 412-575-2600. It looks like Kenny Pickett will come into training camp with whomever the competition is as the guy they'll be looking to. And I'm a little surprised that Mason Rudolph still hasn't gotten an offer, or at least if he hasn't, we haven't heard about it, because it's getting to that point where the Steelers have exclusive negotiating time with him before he becomes a free agent. He may want to go that direction, but I think if he surveys the landscape in the National Football League, he'll come to the conclusion maybe his best shot to play again is right here in Pittsburgh, taking on Kenny Pickett, even if he goes into that being sort of the backup, at least to start training camp. We'll see. But I think that's the first thing that has to happen before they decide what to do beyond that. And if he does not sign here, if Rudolph does decide to test free agency, then they have to look outside and come up with most likely a veteran or 2, and they may have to draft a quarterback as well. A lot of intriguing stuff coming up, but that draft combine continues in Indianapolis. So we'll open up the phone lines. Want to get your take on all of this. Pirates play today, as you saw. It's been a rough week here in Pittsburgh because we've seen people who had such a big impact on Pittsburgh sports pass away. Andy Russell, the legendary linebacker, and he's a Hall of Famer who does not have a gold jacket and should have a gold jacket. He passed away this week. Our condolences to Cindy, his wife, and family. And then just today we found out that Ed Ott passed away at the age of 72. He was part of that championship team for the Pirates in 1979, sharing duties with Steve Nikosha. Also Chris Mortensen, a longtime NFL writer and journalist. He also passes away after a long battle with cancer. So not a good week from that point of view. And we wish all their families the best in this time of grieving. In the meantime, we want to hear from you. 412-575-2600. Call right now. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, 7 nights a week on Pittsburgh's KDKA Plus and 93.7 The Fan. Tweet of the night comes from Deontay Johnson. A lot of this stuff is you got to figure out the clues, cryptic stuff. It is what it is. He may be referring to reports that he is on the trade block or at least being considered for trades. Who knows what that's referring to? But again, in this day of social media, we have to try to figure out what people mean because they don't often say what they mean. They make you guess what you think they mean. 412-575-2600 is the number to call. Penguins are now down 5-0. At the end of two, they've given up 2 power play goals in the last minute of the second period. So that means 2 for 16 on the power play for themselves in this trip. They're going to go 1-3. And last night may have been the dagger. Anytime you blow a 3-1 lead in a game that you completely had control of in the last 8 minutes and then give up 3 goals during that span and lose, don't even get to overtime, no points there, won't be any points tonight. And they just continue to dig themselves a hole that gets deeper by the day. So it's going to be hard to believe, but it's going to be probably 2 years in a row without a playoff game here, and it makes you wonder what kind of changes Kyle Dubas will be looking at. All right, let's go to the lines at 412-575-2600. Dave and Zealy in Opal. Hey, Dave.
Hey, Bob. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Hey, why don't they try to keep Gensel at all costs and get rid of all the other losers?
Well, first of all, it's going to cost more than they want to pay for Gensel. And quite frankly, he's going to be 30. They have a lot of, in fact, their entire roster is almost 30 plus. And everyone else has no trade clauses. It's a very difficult thing. One thing I can assure you of is that Jeff Carter will be done. His contract's over, so they'll save $3 million there. The cap goes up by $5 million, roughly. So you have $8 million there. They're probably going to just try to get rid of some contracts, not unlike what they did with Michael Granlund this offseason when they acquired Karlsson. And Karlsson has not been as good as I thought he would be. But frankly, he's been a disappointment. I think Ryan Graves may be the biggest disappointment of them all, given what they gave him in a big 6-year contract. And, man, he has just not been good. Last night, even though Chris Letang had a terrible night, it was his little – all he had to do was clear the zone, get to overtime, and take your shot. Instead, he tried to give him against the wall. He was being covered. Puck came loose, and it led to Sharon Govich's game-winning goal. So, boy, they have a lot of problems. There's no question about that. They wanted to keep this group together to try to win one more. It's just not working out that way. Crosby's been really good this season, but he's alone. No one else is even close. So they got some, Pettersson from the defensive point of view has been their most consistent defenseman. But other than that, there's not much you can talk about. And there's no help on the way in Wilkes-Barre Scranton. So if you're going to make a trade, and I would trade Jake Gensel right now, I would get as a rental player, hopefully a couple of guys who are on a roster or close to being players who can be here next year, youthful players, somebody who can come in and give them a shot in the arm. They need that to start, and they're going to have to make more moves as well. All right, let's go to Sam in New Bethlehem. Sam, how are you tonight?
Good. Hi, Bob.
Hi.
Hey, nice tie.
Thank you.
Hey, I have an observation to make about the Penguins.
Okay.
And I want to see what you think about it. They've been faltering in the third period in a lot of games, and I think basically it's because they have tired legs. And now with them playing every other day and some back-to-backs, and they're playing some really good teams, I just don't think that they'll come close to making the playoffs. What do you think?
Well, I think it shows tonight. They're not playing with much energy at all. But I also think they do not know how to close out games when they get the lead. If you look back over this year and last, you're going to find double-digit games where they had leads in the third period and just evaporated. You can't play the same style of hockey that you want to play. Mike Sullivan talks about getting to his game quite a bit. Okay, I get that. But once the game is in your grasp and you're controlling the game, then you make it tougher for the other team to get back in the game. And they don't do that. In fact, they get careless in their own zone. You often see offensive zone mistakes, penalties, things that happen that just cannot happen. And it gives teams chances they really don't deserve. You're giving it to them. And that's what's happened a lot with this team. So I don't know, coaching staff-wise, Mike Sullivan is a very good coach. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But like anything else, if you're not getting the message across and the guys aren't listening to the message, or if that's one of the problems, then you have to look at all things. And I don't know what they're going to do, but They're one of the oldest team, if not the oldest team in the NHL, and they're not going to get any younger. Back to the lines we go, beginning with Rudy in Castle Shannon. Rudy, you're on the air. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, two questions here. Like Deontay Johnson or wherever. Like I think we might be able to get like a Justin Fields for a trade like that. Or why would Rudolph want to stay? You know what I mean? When they don't even have a chance for a starting spot.
Well, money, number one. He'll make a significant increase being a backup and the number one backup. He'll get the money, quite frankly, that Trubisky lost. So that's a nice little pickup. If there are no other opportunities around, he's going to have to survey the landscape and see what kind of quarterback situations exist for him. But honestly, I think his best shot of actually starting again eventually would be here. He proved he can do it last year. He got a chance. The team responded. And we're not sure about Kenny Pickett at this point. So, it's a new offensive coordinator. Who knows? But I think if I'm Mason Rudolph, I want to stay here. They say they want him. Hopefully that's the case. And if he gets a deal, then that competition could begin. If it's not him, they're going to have to bring in guys. And most likely they'll bring in somebody like a Ryan Tannehill, somebody who won't be looked at as a legit competitor, I don't think, to Kenny Pickett. I'd like to see someone else. You mentioned Fields. They're not going to get him for Deontay Johnson. They're going to want something more than that. But the market may be dropping. I wouldn't be surprised to see a team come out of nowhere that needs a quarterback, a team like a Minnesota, a team like a Denver, to put together some kind of deal to get Justin Fields. Because he's too talented, and at age 24, there are teams out there that have a lot of money to spend and need a quarterback. Why not take a shot at a guy like that? He has to get better at protecting the football, which he does not do well. Darnell, or is it Daryl? Daryl in Cranberry. Hey, Daryl, how are you doing?
Yes.
Go ahead, Daryl.
Bob. Yes, Bob. Thanks for taking the call.
Mm-hmm.
Just curious. Everyone last year and a half loved Kenny Pickett. Big fan myself. But now all the chatter is he's gone, and we're bringing in Fields. Fields is 10-28 with Chicago. I just don't know why the big talk. He's coming in, and he can be the savior.
He's not coming in, and he's not. First of all, I don't know if you've looked and updated what you're reading, but quite frankly, at this point, it does not look like that's a fit for Pittsburgh. I mean, there's a lot of speculation about where guys might go. But the longer this goes, the worse it gets. The Bears have got to figure this out. And I think they've made their conclusion that they want number one overall pick. Caleb Williams is going to be that guy, it looks like. And so you can't have two of them around. The problem is everyone knows they're trading Fields. And so maybe the bargaining situation is different. They're not going to get as much as they wanted to originally. Maybe they should have made a deal earlier than waiting as long as they have. I don't know, but he'll end up somewhere. But I just, at this point, it doesn't look like it'll be Pittsburgh. Because if he comes to Pittsburgh, he has to start. They've already said Kenny Pickett's returning. They're high on Kenny Pickett. They still think there's a lot there. So we'll see. All right, DJ in Pittsburgh joins us right now. DJ, how are you?
How you doing, Bob? As far as Justin Fields goes, if we end up getting him, Kenny Pickett's going to have to be backup because you know this guy's better than Kenny Pickett, and they're going to have to give this guy a shot with getting Justin Fields. And Bob, did Mr. Rooney call you yet about the play-by-play job for replacing Bill Hillgrove yet?
Hey, DJ, I appreciate that thought. I mean, I'd be honored to be considered. That's all I'll tell you at this point. And I wish Bill all the best. I know he's going to continue on with the Pitt broadcasts and just keeps on keeping on. He's got a great passion for work, a great passion for the games. And as far as Fields coming here, if he does come here, you're right. There's no way he's a backup because, number one, you have to figure out what you're going to do with his option. And you're never going to know if you don't play him, so he has to play. This is another reason why I don't think this transaction will work here in Pittsburgh. We'll see. There's a lot of posturing going on, a lot of gamesmanship that these guys do, these GMs. We'll see what they mean. Eileen and Shaler is on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Hey, Eileen, go ahead.
Hello. Could you tell me what position Ed Odd played on the team?
He was a catcher, a real good catcher. Along with Steve Nicosia, they kind of platooned back there. Chuck Tanner did a good job of using both, righty, lefty, lefty, righty, that sort of thing. Ed Ott was a warrior, man. He was a bulldog. He was a wrestler, and he had that background. And there were a couple of times when if you messed with him, boy, he would throw you down in pancake style. So a tough competitor. Sad to see him go at 72. I had not heard anything about if he were dealing with an injury or illness or anything like that. We just got word today that at age 72. And that's a good reminder to everyone. Enjoy every day you have. Like today was a beautiful day. Hope you did, because once it's gone, you don't get it back. And, man, they go fast. Trust me on that one. We'll take a break, come back with more of this. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. We're live right here on KDKA+. Pirates today, they were down at Lecom Park, and they lost 5-2. But if you're interested in some of the guys who will be here, Martin Perez is going to be a starting pitcher. They brought him in on a one-year contract. He looked pretty good. He retired 9 of 10 batters. Connor Joe continues to hit the ball well. He had another RBI. And I'm curious to see, what exactly the plan is for Henry Davis. We've seen it catch a lot more. He's done pretty well this spring. But is he going to be in position to catch a lot, or is it just going to be Yasmani Grandal? And if it is him, what do they do with Davis? Skeens the other day had one scoreless inning, hit 102 on the gun, so that's encouraging. But again, he won't start the season here. He will be up at some point, you hope, if everything goes well. Brian Hayes continues to hit well, 2 for 3 today. Dari Moret is struggling in the 9th inning. He's one of the guys on a loaded bullpen. Gave up a 3-run home run after a couple of walks. So they are 2-6 for losers today. 5-2 was that score. Again, it's going to be a busy week, folks, because the Penguins come home. They're going to have 2 home games before the March 8th trade deadline. What will they do? Kyle Dubas can't be happy. A lot of the moves he's made have not panned out. Can he correct them quickly? What will happen with Jake Guentzel? We'll answer all those questions as this week rolls on. As the Penguins continue to stumble, they're now down 5-0 after 2. They gave up 2 power play goals in the final minute of that second period. We'll see you tonight on KDKA Sports at 11 o'clock, followed by the #1 Cochrane Sports Showdown. That's 11:35 with Andrew Filipponi and a couple of Chris's, Mac and Adamski, all after the late news. Thanks for joining us. See you again tomorrow night right here at 10:35. Good night.